Okay, we're down at the shop today. Just kind of a real quick operational video with a Sandy. I've got an area that I cut in a little ways back, just kind of finished graded it. And it's done now, but I'm going to show you how I got there. I'm going to flip the camera around here and show you. It's really steep. So this is basically a video on really getting in steep, sketchy areas with an excavator, kind of where you should use caution and actually see one run in a really steep area. Okay, so this is basically right where I park the excavator usually. It's a really steep area, right kind of right on the property line. There's a fence behind there. I don't want to go past it. Basically, I went up, and see it here in a second in the video, we basically smoothed all this out. And that's about a 45-degree angle. It's really steep. As you can see, there's not a lot of distance, but that's taller than the camper by the time you get out there. So basically cleaned up all this area, walked that excavator right up this line really carefully, making sure I had plenty of width. You can kind of see there where my tracks went. Make sure I don't get too close to the side. And then basically as I come back down, kind of clean this edge off. I don't really like cleaning the left-hand side, left-hand meaning the low side, off with the blade, because you can get yourself into trouble. You put that blade down and you're backing up and it catches on something, or you put too much down pressure, you can actually spin yourself off the bank. So watch this video. Hopefully it helps some folks out with operation, and just kind of show you where these things can get and go and do. Sketchy as it gets. Basically, there's almost no room. This is probably pretty close to 45-degree incline. We're just going to ease up. We're going to keep the bucket low. We're going to get on up. Basically, what we're going to do is get up to the top here. We're going to clean this edge off. This is pretty much ready to seed, other than this left-hand side over here needs to be kind of cleaned up a little bit. Got all the brush away from the property line. Got a good pad here. This is really steep. If you flipped off this, that would pretty much destroy the machine, and I'm sure I wouldn't like it very much. We're going to try to avoid that. We're going to get up here and get stable, and just go out here and kind of break this down. It's a little bit off camber, so it doesn't feel real great, especially when you start swinging out over the boom. Anytime that you're off camber, you're So now we're just gonna kind of ease back down this bank really gently. Kind of go tilt my cab around where I'm not dragging up in these bushes, and where I can see my left track, so that I don't go tumbling off the hill. This is kind of how you get in sketchy places. If you look where my bucket's at right now, you really want to make sure that that edge is really packed down and build up. I prefer to kind of do the cleanup and then come back on this last pass and kind of just break that edge off. The main reason is if you've got a little bit there that's kind of higher than where your track's going, it makes it a little bit more comfortable driving up, because one, you can see, you know, that the bank's not about to fall off, and it just makes it a little bit more comfortable. But you can kind of see what I'm doing here, cleaning this up, this edge. We want that water to break off and go where it would normally go and not follow this little mini trench that I've got built. We're just going to ease on down. Nice and packed down. Until you get real comfortable operating the machine with your feet, I would recommend kind of doing that. I'm doing it all as one step, using my feet and my hand controls, but you want to be definitely sure and have a nice light touch with your feet if you're going to back down something like this. This machine's fairly stable, but I don't know if it'll come across on camera, but you can see kind of when I just barely move the bucket, I'm tilting quite a bit. I'm probably at like a 45 degree slant. So it's something you want to just take nice, smooth actions on. Just take your time. I just want to get this down to where if I go back over this kind of with a rake, I can put some seed down and be good for the winter. Here I'm just kind of using the back of my bucket to kind of keep this tamped down, and any excess that I have, I can either rake it back over where I tracked, smooth it if there's a low spot, or I can kind of just kick it over the side. A lot of this is some of the debris still left on the edge that I had. Be able to basically seed this and scrape it a little bit with the rake, get seed down. A lot of those bushes up there, I've already put Roundup on those, so they won't be growing back. Just kind of an example. I'm going to cruise down here and spin around back on the bank once I get maneuvered. Kind of in a tight spot here. I don't know if it's going to come through on camera, but this is about as steep a grade as I would get on with a machine. Be a little better shot of it there, but it's basically 45 degrees, pretty close to it, especially as you get up towards the top there. Kind of just showing you how well the sanding performs as far as multiple functions. We are on low travel speed right now at about, we're about 80% throttle, and we can basically move and track at the same time without a lot of hydraulic output leaving our track system. That's just kind of an example of how to get up in a sketchy area. Just take your time, be careful. It does not feel great when you first get up on it, but after you get some experience, it feels a lot better and you kind of know what to do. Big thing is just keeping that material underneath your tracks very smooth, very level as you can get it. And make sure that you don't have anything kind of moving underneath you. Another thing is you really don't want to spin your tracks, because you're going to slide one way or the other. You could very easily slide off the hill if you started a track spin. So just really light touches, either with your hands or your feet with the tracks, kind of make all the difference in the world. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.